Newjeans is child abuse. Don't support child abuse. So when I first heard about HYBE getting ready to debut a new girl group, I was excited because I tend to like a lot of HYBE's groups, TXT, BTS. But then all my excitement instantly faded when Newjeans actually debuted and we figured out literally 4 out of the 5 girls are just kids. They're just literal children. And one is 14 years old. And that is just completely unacceptable to me, and I refuse to support any group that is debuting kids as young as 14 years old. I mean, as K-pop fans, at least as a K-pop fan who isn't completely ignorant about the industry, we know the bad shit that happens in the industry, and it's some pretty bad shit. Starvation diets, extreme working hours, plastic surgery, sexual harassment, the sexualization of female idols in particular, and male idols too. It's there's just so much shit, sasaengs, hate comments, the pressure of just being a celebrity to an international audience. And it's children are not fucking prepared to deal with that because they're children. Literally their minds and bodies are not done developing. And so obviously I just think that kids shouldn't be debuted as idols. They should just, I don't know, be fucking kids, go to school, make friends, have just an innocent, blissful youth. They shouldn't be fucking training 12 hours a day to get on a music show and wear booty shorts and crop tops and, dance while creepy men watch them. I'm sorry, I just don't think that that's appropriate. And you know what? I'm not sorry. It's literally disgusting. And any company that endorses this, debuting kids as young as 14 years old, pushing them out to become a celebrity for the entire world to see and then destroy and pick apart, it's just horrible. I think back to the thing that happened with Garam just literally weeks ago. Whatever you think of this scandal, whether you think she was guilty of bullying or not, or she was 16 and literally she was thrown to the wolves. You know what I'm saying? People were just ripping her up and down online. The hate comments, she was getting sexual harassment, and they were sexualizing her. They literally had her and the other minor in the group, who's only 15, I believe, grinding on the floor of the music video. They were just being abused. And it's the company HYBE is just literally evil for ever putting them in that situation, for ever debuting them in the first place. They should have just been children and then debuted later when they were adults. Why can't we wait? It's just ridiculous. I mean, especially when these kids are as young as 14, 15, 16 years old. I beg you to think back to when you were 14 years old. Were you of the mental and physical readiness to become a celebrity, to have millions of people judging and critiquing your every action, your every move, to be put in really scandalous clothes that don't cover much and filmed from every angle for the world to see, to be looked at by anyone, literally to be ripped from your parents' arms? There's lots of clips of young idols, One Young, Nicki from HYBE come to mind, of them crying in concerts, in public places, because they missed their parents. Well, guess why they missed their parents? They're fucking 14. They're children, and they've been ripped from their parents' arms to be flown all around the world and be dancing and money-making machines for the company. A lot of the young idols, they're taken out of school completely, or their schooling is extremely minimal and not up to the standard it should be, because they're focusing so much on these insane schedules and training. And then not even to mention the starvation diets, the pressure to get plastic surgery, being hyper in an industry that's hypercritical of any flaw in your looks. Of course that's going to give kids issues even as they grow up, because they're critiquing their body and being forced to live up to beauty standards when they're literal children. They're little children. And everyone knows that all K-pop companies, they're brutal and cutthroat, and the training period is brutal and cutthroat. And you have to remember that this child who's debuting at 14, on average, I think the K-pop training period is 1.5 to 2 years. So it's possible that this child in Newjeans has been doing this since she's 12. Since she's 12 years old, she's been working extremely long hours. And we know the training conditions are not this fun little summer camp. It's hardcore stuff. And that just makes me so sad. I'm why is this 12-year-old, or any minor for that matter, having all their innocence stripped away from them and just being made to like work and work. Like they should be learning in school and hanging out and just enjoying their youth and being normal, like being with their effing parents. Their parents are supposed to protect them, not sign them away in these contracts. Like honestly, if you're a citizen of Korea, I really suggest that you reach out to your lawmakers. Maybe you guys can like get together and or some people that are concerned about this and write a petition to the Blue House to get lawmakers to set age limits on trainee and K-pop idol slash K artist contracts so that these companies will stop exploiting these children. In my opinion, no child should ever be debuting as a K-pop idol. Like they should just be allowed to be children, to be kids. Why can't they fucking wait and start being a trainee at 18 and debut at 20? Like, what the fuck is wrong with having grown fucking adults perform instead of literal children? I'm sorry, but this situation with Newjeans being mostly minors makes me sick to my stomach, especially the 14-year-old. Like, it's just completely unacceptable. So this is just one of the many reasons why we need to boycott Newjeans. Please, please, I don't want you to support this group. I'm sorry to the children because I know that this is their dreams and they've worked hard, but their company is abusing them and they need to go back to having normal childhoods. They're all clearly talented, so when they're adults, they can go be K-pop idols and have super long and successful careers. But like now is not the time, and that's the job of adults to be like, okay, you need to wait a little longer and then we can do this. So as I mentioned in the previous section, HYBE is sexualizing children, little girls. They are sexualizing them. And I'm just going to show you like some images right now, and you just tell me, do these girls look appropriately dressed for their ages? And there's always debates with this, like what is appropriate at what age for them to wear. And here's like what I always say, okay? And I have a whole video about women being sexualized in K-pop, but like, so if these 14, 16-year-old girls put on these clothes as a normal children, like they're just, not celebrities, and they were like, oh, we want to go to the park or we want to go to the mall, that's fine. That's a decision between them and their parents, what's appropriate. But these are all adults, okay? These are all adults that are deciding what they wear, and they're also their bosses. So it's like, here's these booty shorts and crop top. Like, look at the way that they are styling these girls. Does this come off as like stuff that you wore when you were 14? Maybe you did, but you, I'm assuming at least, weren't like on display for millions of people to see. I just don't think that these clothes are appropriate for minors, okay? Like, there's literally one image I'm going to show you right now, and like, just guess how young this woman is, like, or how old she is, okay? Obviously, if you are familiar with the situation, you know the different members, you'll already know what's wrong with this picture. So go ahead and take your guess. All right, I'm waiting. You got it? Okay, she's 14. She's 14 and they fucking styled her like she's 22, okay? Like that's just, no 14-year-old should be looking like that. And they do that a lot with the 14-year-old in this group. They literally just, the makeup, the clothes, they just dress her like she's like 18, 20. And it's like, that is just an invitation for creeps to come and like basically creep on her. And it's like, why would you put her in that situation? Why wouldn't you try to protect her? Like, I just don't understand what they're thinking, other than they are doing this on purpose and they know they're going to attract creepy weirdos to the group and they're going to give them money for this. Like, that's the only explanation I can think of. And like the fact that her parents would be allowing this, but it's like the parents don't even have any control. They basically sold their daughter to HYBE Entertainment, and like, it's just sickening. And so you can look at the clothes here, the way they're styling these girls. Like, this is not like, normal children's clothes. It's like, very, very short shorts, crop tops. The way their makeup's done is very mature. And like, they've also gotten into some trouble with like, there's one image I'm going to put up right now. And this girl is wearing a crop top. She's from Newjeans. And it says, "Pimp is yours" in English. I don't know what the fuck that means. It's probably some weird broken English thing. But I mean, we all know what a pimp is. It's literally like, So it's like, why the fuck is this happening? Why is this being allowed to happen? It's so sickening, and it's just like, the company's creepy. They're creepy, and this should never have happened, and they're literally like sexually exploiting minors. So it's really disgusting. Okay, now we're on to something that was making the news everywhere, their debut song Cookie. If you would like, you didn't believe me in the previous section, like, oh, like a crop top and like short shorts, that's not necessarily sexualization. The company literally gave a group of like fucking, I don't know, like 85% minors a song about sex, okay? It is literally, I'm sorry, but if you don't think this song is like sexual in any way, you're either an actual child or you're so innocent and ignorant, it's like ridiculous, okay? Like this song, I'm gonna put the English lyrics up here. It's full of double entendres and sexual innuendos. Cookie, the word cookie itself is sometimes used as slang in English for the female private areas. And like they talk about the person that they're talking to being thirsty. Thirsty is obviously slang for being like, you know, sexually hungry, basically. Like, oh, he's so thirsty for you. Like, that's very common. Everybody knows that. This song, like, it's just, I'm just putting the lyrics up here, like just read them for yourself. They talk about the scent of their cookie at one point. Like, this is nasty. They're literally having a 14-year-old baby singing about her private parts, okay? It's just, this song is so creepy, it's enraging, it's disgusting, it's disturbing. You're reading the lyrics now. I'm sorry I had to put you through this. Why they ever thought that this would be appropriate is just beyond me. And once again, I can only assume that this was done purposefully with the intent to draw basically pedophiles to this group to give HYBE money. And like, it's just so disgusting and evil. And like, I know that they have literally like made these girls go on Instagram Live or whatever the fuck and like say like, oh, like this song, it's like about us baking cookies for our crush. Read the lyrics. Read the lyrics. That's not what it's about. Of course, they think that, one, they have to say that because their PR manager is making them, like, giving them a script to read. But second of all, they are actual kids, so they might actually not understand the implications of the songs. But like, just use your own judgment and like, just see. All right, I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, so now we're going to move on to actually like one of the most disturbing parts of this story. Now, don't get me wrong, like almost every part of this is horrifying and disturbing, but like this really, it's like if you didn't think, like if you were naive and you're like, oh, like the song is supposed to be innocent and oh, the clothes they're wearing, they're not that bad. Like if you're in that la la land, okay, let me like expose some shit for you. And you may have already heard about this. So if you didn't know, there are under a sublabel of HYBE called Adore, okay, or ADOR. I'm not sure how it's said. I assume Adore. And their CEO, her name is Min Hee Jin. And like, feel free to blast her name and picture everywhere because this lady is an absolute creepazoid. So basically, a bunch of different news agencies started picking up on the fact that this lady, in her Instagram and in her literal home, okay, in her home, she has pictures of these underage actresses in stages of undress, mostly like actresses from movies and stuff like that. And I'm putting stuff on screen now. I got these from a Korea Boo article, which you can go read if you want more depth. They did a good job like documenting it and like translating it into English, like the different accusations that were going on. But it's like, it's not, none of this is even alleged. It's not even like, oh, she may have had pictures of underage actresses in stages of undress on her walls. No, it's just true. And she posted it herself for the world to see. And it's like, you can just look at these images. They're extremely disturbing and uncomfortable. And she has like a movie poster, which I'm going to show here. And the plot of the movie is literally about a underage girl having sex with like a fully grown man. And I'm like not familiar with this movie because why would I ever watch that filth? But like, this is just very disturbing. She posted a picture with an album, and this album, for some godforsaken reason, tells the story of an underage girl being sexually preyed upon by a pedophile. Like, that's like the plot of the album. I didn't even know albums could have plots. But she, once again, this is like a trend. This is concerning. This is not one movie poster with a questionable theme. This is like many photos and pictures plastered all around her house, like an album talking about literally explicitly a child being a victim of a pedophile. And this CEO, Min Hee Jin, she was and is directly responsible for this group. She decided what children were going to be in it. She decided to put children in it to begin with, including the 14-year-old girl. She decided what clothes they're going to wear. She approved the song Cookie and decided that was a good concept and direction for them. And I'm just going to say it. This woman should not be allowed around minors. She is a total and unrepentant creep. She is willing to post all those images and announce to the world what she wants on her walls, like all those pictures, like really uncomfortable pictures and movies with pedophilic like plots. And if that's what she's like comfortable posting, just imagine what she looks and enjoys when no one can see. This is a pattern for her, and it's extremely disturbing and it's concerning. What's even more concerning and has me even more like just upset at this situation is she's publicly said that she's had these children that are her employees, by the way. She is the CEO. She has every power over whether these kids get to quote unquote live their dreams or not. That's the way they see it. She has admitted publicly that she has these children over to her home frequently. It literally says in an interview, she said she'll have them over to her house in the weekend so they can quote unquote bond. Okay, in my opinion, no CEO should be bringing over employees to their fucking house to quote unquote bond. That's fucking weird. And it's even weirder when your employees are actual children and you're a grown ass woman with really, 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 really creepy and pedophilic interests. And she never says that their parents were here for these meetings. And I'm going to guarantee that they weren't, because maybe their parents would have thought twice about leaving their children there if they saw all the fucking half naked underage actresses that this woman has in her house. And I am so concerned, and I am scared for the safety of these children, especially what went on at this woman's house. It really seems like this woman is grooming them, or she is actively interested in them, like she's interested in them in a creepy and criminal way. This woman, Min Hee Jin, she needs to immediately be taken off this project, separated from these children, and she needs to be investigated by the Korean police, because this is all the signs of a pedophile. And like women can be pedophiles too, and nobody wants to talk about that. And Min Hee Jin, she's she's disgusting. And I really want the police to look into her. She thought this, every part of this she's responsible for. And I hope that HYBE gets rid of her ass, because she is a true creepazoid. So yeah, fuck her basically. So basically, if this wasn't enough to convince you that HYBE is sexually exploiting these literal children for the world to see, I don't know what will. And the people that are defending this and like saying it's okay, they're either actual children, so they don't understand what's wrong, and they don't understand like what is basically like dark and twisted about this situation because they're innocent, or they're people who are being willingly ignorant. And please, if you are a citizen of Korea, please contact the authorities and report these instances to the police, because maybe if enough people make a fuss about it, maybe the police will actually do something about it. I have to assume in Korea, like I know there's laws to protect children from pedophiles and from being sexually exploited. So why people should basically try to get these laws applied. I'm not a lawyer in Korea. I don't know the specifics, but even if no charges could be pressed against this very creepy woman, Min Hee Jin, or HYBE Entertainment, you could at least have them look into it, and that press would be extremely bad for HYBE. So honestly, if you are a citizen of Korea and this case is concerning or upsetting to you and you're uncomfortable with this, I encourage you to actually contact the authorities, and maybe the authorities can actually help these children. As an international fan myself, and as other international fans, the best we can do is raise awareness about how fucking horrible this shit is. It's literally awful, and we cannot support this group, okay? And the people that are like, oh, like this is hate to the girls. Why the fuck would it be hate to the girls? They're literal children. I just want them to have real childhoods and not be sexually exploited on the fucking internet. This has nothing to do with them, really. Like, they're the victims. It does have something to do with them because they're the victims, but it's like the adults have basically abused them. And it's like, so if you support this group, you're not really supporting them. You're supporting the company and all of the creepers that did this to them and all the creepers that said that this was okay. And you're basically lining their wallets so that they can continue sexually exploiting these children. And so what we have to do is we have to send a message to HYBE that child abuse is not okay. Like, I can't believe we've got to this point where this needs to be said, but like, I beg of you, the best thing you can do if you're an international or Korean fan, if you're a Korean fan, like I said, look into contacting the authorities. But if you're an international fan, just do not engage with anything Newjeans. Don't watch their music videos. Don't watch their live stages. Don't watch interviews of them. For heaven's sakes, do not buy their albums, because anytime you're doing that, you are supporting and enabling the demonic, money-grubbing, pedophile condoning atrocity that is HYBE Entertainment to just keep abusing these kids. Even if you don't physically buy an album, which please God, don't do that. But like, if you watch their music video, that's money to HYBE. Like, that is making their group of exploited children a money-making machine for them, which is exactly what they want. And it's like, I know you may feel bad for the girls, which I do too. I can't imagine like working hard for something and then it not working out. But it's like, as a child, you don't always know what's best for you. You know, you may think something's okay. You don't realize like the kind of like darker, messed up nature. You don't realize you're being abused, basically. And once again, these girls, like, they're so talented. They can come back to this industry when they are of age to do so. When they're 18, 20, like, they can have long, fulfilling careers and be more emotionally and mentally prepared for such an industry. Not to mention they can have an actual education so that they can fall back on something if the idol career doesn't work out for them, or they just decide they want to move on to something else because it wasn't all they dreamed it was. Like, that's another thing people don't really think about, is these children that debut super young. For example, Hyuna is a good example. One Young will be when she gets older, because they fucking debuted her ass at 14. They don't know any other life. So they just stay in the entertainment industry and they don't really know who they are, or they have a really difficult time with identity because they've always just been what other people have told them to be, and they've always presented themselves in the way the company tells them they should. So it just creates a lot of mental and emotional issues that honestly last for a lifetime. So in short, Newjeans is child abuse. Don't support child abuse. Fuck HYBE. Fuck their CEO, Min Hee Jin. She is literally so fucking creepy. Just, guys, please don't turn a blind eye. Like, what if this was your little sister or your child being made to sing these vulgar lyrics and like being dressed in the way that these girls are being dressed? And what if like they were over at the house of a woman, their boss, who has images of half naked underage actresses on her walls? It's so gross and it's so worrying. And it's like, please don't support Newjeans. Do the right thing. Just boycott Newjeans, because HYBE is a fucking evil company. Thank you. Amen. All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I obviously got heated, and I don't know if you're feeling heated. But let's just do what we can. It's just really upsetting when K-pop, which is just supposed to be like a fun, innocent thing, you know, fun pop music, great performances, when such a space that brings so many of us joy just does some really vile shit. And I think the only thing we can do as a community is universally condone these actions and try to protect these children in the best way that we can. And I know it sucks because we can't do as much as we would want to do, but there's definitely stuff we can do. And like I said, one of the first steps you can do is just don't fucking engage. Don't engage with this content. Don't tell HYBE like, oh yes, continue to debut 14-year-olds and continue to sexually exploit them. Like, we don't fuck with that, and we shouldn't fuck with that as a community. Anyway, but let's take a deep breath. So please also feel free to spread awareness to any of your friends that are just watching Newjeans content and they don't understand the background of the CEO, or they haven't thought about these issues, or they don't understand how young these girls are because they've dressed them in such a way where they appear older. You can try to don't like confront them and like make them mad or defensive. Just explain to them like, hey, this group actually, like, they're really young kids and the company's really bad, and like, you can explain them. You send them this video. Mr. K-pop made a great video talking about the situation, and maybe we can bring more people to our side and try to get this to stop, basically. Another thing I want to do, and like we can just kind of cool down together, at the end of my videos, I actually usually put it at the beginning, but I just really wanted people to, like, I feel like this is like a pressing issue, an issue we talked about now, and some people click off when, like, they're trying to be evangelized too. So that's what I'm here to do at the end, all right? So if you're going through a hard time right now, I just want to know, like, I want to tell you that I've been there and you're not alone, even if you feel really alone. You're not alone and you're going to get through whatever hard shit you're going through. So if you're like looking for a sign, this is it. The sign is you're going to be fine. Keep pushing, feel free to rest whenever you need to. It's like, you don't need to like sprint through life, like as long as you're slowly walking forward, like doing whatever you can, because it gets really hard sometimes. Just know that that is good enough and you are loved, and whatever pain that you're going through, it is overcomable, it will pass. And Jesus loves you. You were created in his image. He wants you to be with him eventually when you naturally pass away in heaven with him, and you are his beloved child. In this like modern culture, it's so materialistic and it's like, oh, we're just like, apes or whatever, or that we just evolved or whatever, and you just die and then like you're just gone forever. But that's not true, and Jesus created you and you're one of a kind and he loves you, and he's already died for your sins. So if you were looking for a reason to become a Christian, that sounds like a great reason to me, that you've already been saved and all you need to do is accept Jesus, who already loves you infinitely. So I hope everyone out there is doing all right, and peace out, brothers.